Hello, hello, my friends. I cannot even believe that I am filming this video when it is still 90 degrees outside, but alas, here we are. Today, I am going to be sharing with you the Kringle Christmas or holiday collection for 2025. Now, this collection will be launching on what would that be? Thursday, September 18th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That will be the launches. There's actually like two launches happening on the same day at the same time. The Fall Reserve collection as well as the Holiday collection are launching at that time. So I've already done a video on the Fall Reserves, and I told you guys that I would do a separate video for the Holiday collection, and so here it is. I have the 6 fragrances that will be offered right here in front of me. So we're going to go ahead and go through a little bit of a cold sniff impression. I have actually burned one of these candles already, so I'm going to give you guys some thoughts. I might be able to get a post-burn review in on that one candle prior to the launch. Don't hold me to it, you guys. Truthfully, like I said, it's still 90 degrees outside. I'm trying to get through all of my fall candles. I am nowhere near ready to burn holiday scents yet, being that I'm a seasonal burner. But these 6 fragrances are going to be available in a couple of different formats in the Kringle lineup. They will be available in the large 2-wick tumblers, which is what I have here in front of me today. They will also be available in the 4-wick, 32-ounce vessels, and then also in daylights and wax melts, I believe. So no medium jars, no 3 wicks. We know that those they are moving away from. And the other thing that I did want to say on this collection, you guys, this is not like a limited edition collection. This is their holiday lineup for this year. So you have some time if you're not ready yet to purchase Christmas candles. If you are saying, like, if you're kind of like me and you're like, I am not ready to think about Christmas, maybe if you want to wait for a sale, you're going to have some time to wait for some dedicated reviews. Personally, you guys, I probably won't even get around to doing dedicated post burns on these till likely November, I would say, just because the fragrances are not really in my wheelhouse right now to burn. I do like the fragrances, but they're not ready. I'm not ready for it yet. So if you are, first and foremost, if you like this video, please make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Consider subscribing to my channel if you are new and you like to watch videos about candles. I talk about them a lot here on my channel. I do have an affiliate discount code with Kringle. It is Katie15. It will save you 15% off of your full price purchase. So if you're wanting to shop from the Reserve line, maybe there's some other candles that you've been eyeing and you want to possibly save some money on the shipping costs, maybe you're buying them all together, you can go ahead and use that code. It is eligible for a commission. Always like to put that out there. And, as always, the reason why you're seeing that little paid promotion sticker that comes up, I am always going to be very transparent with you when items have been sent to me in PR, which is the case today. These candles, the reason why I have my hands on them right now is that Kringle was kind enough to send them to me in advance. So let's go ahead and go through these fragrances. I will have all of the fragrance notes as listed in the description box down below. I will make sure that I include timestamps down there for you as well. And then at the end of this video, I will make sure that I rank them for you. That way, in case you share similar fragrance preferences, might give you a little bit of a ballpark idea about where each of these fragrances stand with me. So let's go ahead and dive in. The first candle that I wanted to talk about is Santa's Workshop. So we've got some little wooden toys here. We've got a train on it. You guys may or may not know, anything with trains on them are very sentimental to me. My dad was a huge train nut. He had like a model railroad layout. We used to go train watching, and he loved trains. My dad passed away 2 years ago, and so every time I see anything with a train on it, I think of him. And I also think of my son. My son also loves trains. So it's a sweet little thing there. Santa's Workshop has fragrance notes of wood, cherry, tobacco, suede, musk, and cedar. So, okay, you know what's funny, you guys? This is one that I initially was like, I don't know if I like this, but the more that I've stuck my nose in it, I feel like this is one I'm going to like a little bit more upon burn. So what does my nose pick up on cold? I pick up a wood note in here. It is like a cedar note, but it's not a super heavy cedar wood note like the inside of like a cedar chest. It's not that heavy. I do detect a slight note of cherry in there, and I think that the cherry in here though is so subtle that it doesn't lean like summertime cherry gourmand. It's not the same cherry note that's in cherry pie. It's not like a summertime cherry. This is more of like the cherry is working. It's giving like a cherry wood, like, you know what I mean? It's bringing out like the sweetness and the cedar, I think, in this fragrance. Now, the other note that I am smelling in here a little bit is like a leather note, tobacco and suede. So see, it's not leather. It's kind of reminding me a little bit, if you happen to have liked Father Christmas from, what was that? Was that 2 years ago? 2 or 3 years ago in the holiday lineup. Again, not the same fragrance as Father Christmas. That one leaned a little bit more like leather, like the belt that you would have on Santa's, ensemble there. But this does lean slightly more masculine, but it's not perfumey cologne-like masculine. It's a little bit more woody, but you got that cherry note in there. I like this one. The more that I smell it, the more that I like it. Now, is it something that, like, if I were to go in store and sniff it, I would probably be intrigued by it, but I don't think that it would be something that I would purchase. But again, that could completely change when I burn it. So that is the fragrance Santa's Workshop. The next fragrance is Christmas Tree Farm, which is really cute. Look at it's got like the old like vintage red truck, and you've got the red little building in a snow-covered landscape. I'm sure this is what it looks like in most of the country. Not where I live, but in many parts of the country around the holidays. Fragrance notes on Christmas Tree Farm are fir needle, balsam, pine, orange, wood, and musk. So, I like this one a lot. This is their tree note. This is the fragrance that has the most distinct tree note. So if you are a fan of tree notes, this to me, you know what this reminds me a little bit of? And I wish I still had it in my collection. I actually gifted it to my mother-in-law, but to do a side-by-side comparison. If you liked last year's Cypress and Cinnamon, I think that this is a safe bet. Kind of reminds me of that. I think it's the orange note. Now, the orange note in here is nowhere near, like, it's not vintage pomander. It's not their cozy Christmas scent. It's not an orange pomander scent. The orange in here lends a little bit of brightness, mixing with the tree notes. What I get in here is definitely a fir and a balsam mix. Kind of leans a little bit like of a cooler tree fragrance, like more like you're outdoors. It's not like a warm Christmas tree scent. Like their Hallmark fragrance Christmas, for example. I love that scent. It's probably my number one Christmas fragrance that I would recommend from Kringle. That fragrance to me leans a little bit more like Christmas tree inside of a house. You've got just the warmth. You're inside a warm home and you're smelling a tree scent. This to me reminds me of like you would be in a setting like this where you've got some coolness of like outdoorsy. You've got some crispness of the outdoors with this a little bit more. It's a little bit more of an astringent tree note, I would say, but I'm not mad about it. Yeah, wood, musk, pine. Definitely a tree fragrance. But again, if you liked Cypress and Cinnamon, if you liked Here Comes Santa Claus last year, that was more of like a spruce scent. But yeah, if you're a lover of tree scents, and particularly if they mix a tiny little bit of orange, and again, the orange note in here, this is not a fragrance where you smell really anything super citrusy. I think the orange note in here just lends a little bit more brightness to the tree note. But I do like this one quite a bit. I feel like that one's going to be beautiful. And I have so many other fragrances that I know that it will pair nicely with. The next fragrance is Snow Walk. So it looks like we have somebody walking through the woods and they've left their little footprints there as they have gone traipsing along in the woods. Fragrance notes of vanilla, peppermint, white chocolate, sandalwood, and musk. So, This one's good. It's kind of clean. I think that's coming from the peppermint, but again, not clean in like a cologne-y type of way. This is clean. I get peppermint and white chocolate in this fragrance, and I'm not mad about it. I like it. Get a little bit of vanilla, but this is really nice. I actually think that I have a couple of peppermint fragrances still in my collection that I had actually hemmed and hawed about getting rid of because Cody doesn't always love peppermint fragrances, but I still have their peppermint hot, is it peppermint hot cocoa or peppermint hot chocolate? I think it's peppermint hot cocoa or peppermint cocoa, something like that. I have that one. It was in the country candle format. I still have some of that. I have their Kringle Express, which was a limited edition country release last year. That has a peppermint note. I feel like they're going to complement those fragrances really well. This is nice. There is a little bit like the sandalwood and the musk in the base of this give it a slight tinge of perfuminess. But this isn't, I wouldn't even say that this leans like body care or whatnot. Maybe that's what makes me think of it being kind of clean. But yeah, this is like a peppermint white chocolate note to me. That's really what I'm picking up the most in this fragrance. Again, the more I smell it, the more I like it. But you do get some of that sandalwood and musk in the base that just lends like the slightest element of perfuminess. But that one is really good. I do have to just say, you guys, I am a lot more excited about the Kringle Christmas collection than I am about the fall reserves. We can talk about that another time. But anyways, Christmas, I'm loving the labels on these, and the fragrances are pretty good too. So we have the fragrance here of Vintage Christmas. Fragrance notes on Vintage Christmas are balsam, fruit, spice, cinnamon, wood, and amber. And I did want to say all of these have a pour date, it looks like, of June 19th, 2025. So these were poured a couple of months ago. Okay, Vintage Christmas. I'm not sure what I think about this one, you guys. This, I'm picking up a lot of like mulling spices. But the mulling spices in here are almost giving off kind of a, it's not a boozy fragrance, but it's kind of giving that boozy note like you would get. It's kind of like the apple rum cake on Cold, where you pick up, I think it's the dates in there, make you think that it's a really, really boozy fragrance, but it's actually not. It's not really boozy. It's just that it kind of tricks your nose into thinking that it is. I don't know if I'm making any sense there. Some of you guys might know, but that's what I'm smelling here. I'm smelling mulling spices, fruit, maybe like some like dates or something. It's kind of like a fruit cake, but there's no cake note in there. I do get some cinnamon, and it's mixed with the balsam tree note, which I'm going to be honest with you guys, it might be the balsam because I don't always love balsam notes. So this one is like, this is one that I would not pick up and purchase. But who knows? I might really like it upon burn. I feel like this is a fragrance that I would burn as like a transitional scent. I could see myself starting to burn this one in early November. It's okay, but there's something about it that on Cold is not hitting my nose particularly favorably. But again, you guys, it could be, could totally transform when it is burning, which, you know what, let's talk about that here for a minute, because we're going to talk about the fragrance that I have actually already burned. This is the fragrance Kringle Cupcake. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be really intrigued by this one because, drum roll, it is a gourmand. Kringle Cupcake has fragrance notes of vanilla, cake, cream, spice, vanilla bean, and sweet. So here's the thing with this one. When I initially stuck my nose in this, I loved it. It was my number one scent. I was like, oh yes, this is the one that I love. I definitely got a lot of that, like vanilla. Was it the same vanilla cream, like the same vanilla fragrance as my number one vanilla gourmand, which is Caramel Sundays Bakery on Main? No. Has that been dethroned? No. It's still my number one. But I liked this enough that it kind of reminded me a little bit of like the vanilla sugar cookie note that I get in Wishing for Christmas. And I was like, oh, I'm going to love this one. I just know it. This is going to be my favorite. I even was like, you know what? I better start burning it. The reason I started burning it was I was like, I want to make sure that if I love it enough, I might want it in a 4-wick. This is the one that I'm going to burn a little bit more this week. I'm filming this video a couple of days before I put it up, and I might be able to do a dedicated post-burn review on it prior to the launch because I started burning this the other day. And you guys, it's doing it. It had that same thing that I have had with a couple of gourmand fragrances from Kringle. This may just be my nose, but I do know that there's a couple of you guys who have picked up on this sometimes. Sometimes Kringle's vanillas, they develop a little bit of like this scorched note. That's the best way that I can describe it. It's when it is burning, my nose picks up on something kind of scorched, almost like wildfire. And that's what this one started doing the other day. I walked into the room initially, like the first like 30 minutes when I was smelling it, I was like, oh, this smells really nice. Initially on cold sniff, I definitely got, you know, vanilla. It smelled like a vanilla cream, almost like a vanilla buttercream type of fragrance. You got a little bit of a cake note in the background. I loved it. But when this was burning, that first time, like I can still smell it a little bit. I don't know if it's the spices that they've put in here that are not, that's just how it's translating to my nose. Because it's funny, even now on cold sniff, when I'm sticking my nose in it, it smells different than when I had it on cold sniff prior to lighting it up. So this one, you guys, I am going to say, I'm going to really focus on burning this one a little bit more and give you guys a post-burn review prior to the launch. So that way I have more thoughts, because I was talking to another ambassador who has received these, and she told me on the first burn, for like the first couple of hours, she kind of got that scorched note, but then she said she lit it up the next time and she's like, that note went away and I'm smelling more of the spices coming through mixed with the vanilla buttercream. So again, the jury's still out on this one, but I did want to let you guys know about that. So I will keep you guys posted on this one prior to the launch. Hopefully it'll turn around for me. You can see that the oils in this, I mean, they really put a lot of oils. This one's got a little bit more of like a kind of like creamy custardy type of color to it. But yeah, and then here's the final one, which we've actually, pulling back the curtain a little bit, you guys, we've had a little bit of back and forth about this candle. This one was sent to us, and then our contact actually asked us, he said, hey, we're not really sure yet if this one, we're having some discussion about the fragrance notes on this candle. We're not really sure if this one's going to be available for release, but thankfully today, the day that I'm filming this, I actually got an email from him saying like, it's okay. We are actually going to include this in the launch. So go ahead and freely talk about it. And it is the fragrance Cinnamon Apple Wreath. So we have fragrance notes on, first and foremost, packaging, beautiful. Cinnamon Apple Wreath has fragrance notes of baked red apple, cinnamon stick, sparkling mandarin, clove bud, mulled cranberry, sugared berries, warm woods, vanilla bean, and golden amber. So I think one of the reasons why there was maybe some discussion about the fragrance notes is that the title of it is named Cinnamon Apple Wreath, but there's no real like wreath. There's no green note in here. There's no tree note in here, which smelling it, yeah, I don't detect any kind of tree note. However, is this a really nice like cinnamon apple note? Yeah, it is. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Apple is not a fragrance that I typically associate with the holiday season. I don't know. I just don't, but I know that a lot of people do, especially apple and cinnamon together. This to me, I do get quite a bit of cinnamon in here. It's not as pungent red hot cinnamon as say the Frosted Spice candle of last year, or if you've had their Kitchen Spice candle. It's not smack you in the face cinnamon, but it is not as soft of a cinnamon as some of their other fragrances. I would say it's like in the middle there. It's not super red hot, but it's not super soft either. It is noticeable. So if you're averse to cinnamon, you may not be wanting to, you might want to pick this one up in a daylight or a wax melt, I would say, if you're not so sure. But there's something I like about this one. I smell apple, but what are the other? It's like a baked red apple. Mandarin, clove bud. It might be the clove that I'm picking up. I am somebody who does tend to like clove in fragrances. Warm woods, the vanilla bean. There's something that's like, there's golden amber in here too. There's something about this that is kind of like warm and creamy in the base. that the more that I stick my nose in this, I'm like, yeah, I like this. Don't be fooled, you guys. This is not a tree note. There's no green note. This is definitely more of a gourmand fragrance to my nose. And so maybe that's why they were possibly thinking about changing the name or the label. I'm sure that probably would have been a lot of time and effort. But yeah, I'm going to say that this leans more gourmand than it does. It's not a tree note. So if you're hoping that with the name Wreath in it, that there's going to be green in there, you're not going to find it. Look at the fragrance notes. There's no greenery in here. This is definitely a gourmand fragrance. But yeah, really nice. Really nice fragrance. So let's go ahead and rank these. Coming in at number 6, I'm going to say Vintage Christmas right now is number 6 for me. There's just something about it that on cold I don't love. I think it's those mulling spices. It comes across just a little bit like date-like or boozy, and it's just not really my favorite. Coming in at number 5 is going to be Santa's Workshop for me. I like it. I'm intrigued by it more so. And it's funny. See, now I stick my nose in it and I smell the tobacco. That tobacco and suede. I have a feeling I'm going to like this one a little bit more upon burn. But right now, just on the cold sniffs, it's number 5 for me. Let's see. Number 4. Number 4, I think I'm going to give to Cinnamon Apple Wreath. Again, this one might climb the rankings for me. But again, because I think that it's more of, I don't always associate apple with the holidays. That could be my mind game here. But I do like it. Okay, number 3 right now, I'm going to say is Snow Walk. Yeah, I like that peppermint and the white chocolate in here. It's really nice. Again, very nice, clean type of fragrance. Coming in at number 2, now this is the one that's going to be the wild card because it's either going to bump itself back up to number 1 or it's going to fall to the bottom and I will declutter it because I don't always like that like scorched note, is going to be Kringle Cupcake. Yeah, it's funny. I loved it on cold. I'm hoping that it turns itself around. So that's why I'm putting it at number 2 is because I absolutely loved it initially. Like it was my standout number 1. But if I keep picking up on this scorched note, I will end up passing it along. So it could be number 1 or it could be number 6. We just don't know. Although I actually don't even say it would be number 6. I would probably still have it. It might drop to like 4 or 5. We shall see. But my number 1 favorite out of this, just on these cold sniff, is the Christmas Tree Farm because I feel like I can never go wrong with a good tree scent around the holidays. This is a really well done tree scent, you guys. A little bit cooler. You guys know that I typically lean towards a warm Christmas scent. Do I love this fragrance more than their traditional Christmas scent? No. Christmas is still my number 1 from Kringle, but I do like it. And it'll pair nicely with a lot of other fragrances. If you have any of those like vintage pomander, if you have Away in a Manger, if you have Cozy Christmas, there's so many fragrances from Kringle that I feel like this one will pair really nicely with. And I think it'll play nicely with a lot of the other candles like this red, this cinnamon apple wreath. Actually, if you want a tree note, you could probably, burn these 2 together and it'll give you some nice vibes. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this collection. Let me know in the comment section down below if you are intrigued by any of these. Like I said, you guys, these are not limited edition. You will have some time. So, you can wait for reviews. You can wait for other ambassadors. There were a few of us that were sent PR, and then there were they did open up a pre-order available to all of the ambassadors to be able to order ahead of time. So I do know that some of them are starting to pour in and put their videos into place. So we shall see, see what everybody thinks. So anyways, you guys, let me know again if any of these are on your wish list, what your thoughts are. Do you think it's too early to release Christmas? I mean, I know we always say that, but truthfully, I think people like to have their hands on Christmas candles prior to starting to, it seems like everything gets bumped up earlier and earlier once Halloween is over. I know that there are some people who are like, put up the Christmas tree and turn on the Christmas tunes and light up all my Christmas candles. So yeah, different strokes for different folks. But anyways, please hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing if you are new. I do want to say thank you so very, very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.